Hi, Liz. Hi, coding. All right. Hope everybody had a good day today. So, today's conversation is going to kind of pick up from where yesterday's conversation was, too, because I did a video yesterday about. Let me lift this camera a little bit. That's better. Um, I did yesterday's video about jobs to avoid. Today I want to talk about jobs that are alternative to coding to get in. So if you're having a hard time finding a job as a brand new medical coder, maybe you can try some of these positions. And you have to have a little bit of flexibility when it comes to like what you're going to accept in the beginning. And I know some people get upset about that because I've had several angry comments about that in the past when I've talked about alternative jobs. But these alternative jobs are just to kind of get you guys some exposure and get you some practice where it's not so high stakes. Because once you start working as a coder, everything is on you. All the codes that you select and everything is literally on you. You have to be able to defend your work. And if you can't, it's a problem, so. All right. Hi, Letty. Yes, I'm here and you're here. So now that we're all here, everybody, if you are brand new, let's try that again. There we go. If you are brand new to my channel, welcome. I am Blue. I'm a medical coder. Okay, guys, today we are talking about alternative positions for new medical coders, or even if you are in school right now and you say, well, Blue, maybe I should get a position, apply for a front desk, because I'm still in school right now. No. The reason that I say no is because, again, if you happen to start as a receptionist or at the front desk for some place, for a hospital organization, right? And let's just say you do such a fantastic job, and then all of a sudden you get this coding certification. It is going to be harder for you to move within the organization because they want you there. And it's all about what's best for the organization, what they want, what they need, because your needs are going to be secondary. Even though a lot of companies and organizations say, "Oh, our employees are first." No, they have to make sure that the ship can still sail, but they still have to be able to manage all of these things. And then if it's convenient for them, then yes, they will take care of your needs. But they're going to come first. So again, if you are doing really well in the front desk, and somebody else commented that too, they said, yes, Blue is right, that she could not move. Once she got into that front desk position, she could not move. And so all of that time is wasted, okay? So these alternative positions that even though you're still in school, you haven't finished your course yet, none of these positions are going to require you to have a certification, okay? They don't require you to have a certification, these ones I'm going to talk about. And so this is good practice. This is good exposure for like you wanting to get into this industry. And I will say this, do not complain about these positions because sometimes people will have to start here. You don't have to, but sometimes it is a necessity. Like you need money, you need to be able to pay your bills. When I was in coding school, I cleaned houses, I worked as a bartender, and I worked at a halfway house. So I don't want to hear nobody complaining. Trust me, I don't want to hear nobody complaining because trust me, I've had it hard too. And the more you complain, all that wasted energy into complaining, you're not going to get very far. So the first job that I want to talk about is going into billing, medical billing. Now, medical billing does not require you to be certified. Yes, there are billing credentials out there. And for the most part, I think if you have your own business as a biller, which some people do, and if you are brand new, don't you dare. You need experience first before you go and pull something like that. Because I've had many people say, oh, Blue, I have no experience and I came from this other industry and I really want to have my own medical billing business. No clue what they're getting into. No clue at all. And that's a recipe for disaster. But if you are getting in brand new and you're still in school, this means that you've had exposure. You're starting to learn the codes and you're starting to learn about the coding process and modifiers and procedures and ICD-10 PCS or CPT and all of those things. You're starting to learn about that. Who better to go into a medical billing practice and say, I'm in coding school right now and I'm very interested in working on the revenue side. Don't start saying my ultimate goal is to be a coder, because then they're not going to hire you. And you're not lying, because you are technically interested in the revenue side, especially if you're going to get into coding anyway, because even though you are a coder, you still have to know about revenue. And there's a lot of people who kind of resent that. They don't want to have to learn about revenue. You can't learn one without the other. I don't do billing, I never have, but it does not mean I don't know a little bit about billing. I know enough and I know some things, okay? But I would never be so bold as to say I'm a master and I know what I'm doing. Trust me, I know there's a lot more that goes on in the billing side that I have no clue about. But it is helpful if you are competent in the codes. Because guess what happens, and this is something that you can argue too, if they say, well, why should we hire you as a biller? Well, you have all of these transferable skills. Whatever transferable skills you have, you've been in customer service, you've handled money before, like cash handling, you've made deposits, you've done all those things, you've been able to keep track of inventory and numbers and all of these things, because all these things look attractive to somebody who's trying to hire for billing, right? And I saw this thing too on Instagram. I follow this one lady, her name is Anna Papalia, and she does all this hiring and things like that. She's worked in HR. And one of the things that she said, or maybe it might have been somebody else too, but they were talking about that when you get called in for an interview, you're qualified. This technically means that you are qualified. So I was like, yeah, that's right, because they wouldn't call you in otherwise. So put that out of your mind that, oh, I'm not qualified, I'm not qualified. They need to know, do they like you and can you help them? Right? So they need to know, do they like you when you meet them and can you help them? Those are the two things they're looking at when they call you in for an interview. So again, if you're going in for this billing position, you say, I'm currently in school for coding because I'm really interested in learning on the revenue side and things like that. And I've learned about this with coding. I know about the guidelines, I know about the sequencing, I know the importance of modifiers and when they apply, and I'm learning more about this XYZ. Talk that up, because even though you are not certified yet, it doesn't mean you're not competent yet, right? So do that, start there if you want to start on the revenue side. Medical billing for some people is fun. They really like that side because it takes the pressure off the coding, right? Because they're like, oh my gosh, I don't know anything about the coding, and I went to this fast-paced program like you told us not to, and it was 4 months, and I'm so sorry, and I just want to get through. So this way, the codes are already done as you as the biller, right? Because most of the time they're coming from a coder, or sometimes they're coming from the doctor who's already selected the codes using the electronic health record. And if that's the case, you got to really pay attention. And so if you're looking at this, these codes are already done, they're sequenced, and then you enter them into the system, you do all the processing for the billing side, and then you send it out, and then it comes back either as paid or denied or whatever the case may be. And then that's when you start learning about denials, you start learning about the patterns of denials. And that is such valuable information, because if a provider or a practice or a hospital or what clinic can nail down the reason for their denials, they can correct it. But it takes somebody strong enough to say, wait a second, there's a lot of denials because of this reason, this reason, and this reason. And guess how valuable you just became, right? And again, you're not doing the coding, you're just doing the processing. So it's a nice introduction. It's a less pressured introduction for the coding side. Okay, so just try that and see how that works, all right? And if you don't like it, then keep applying for other jobs. Some of you guys act like you get one job, that's your job forever. It's not. And it's okay to move around, okay? I had 3 jobs within the first year. I worked at the Cancer Therapy Research Center, then I worked at a hospital, and then I came here to my forever home. So I've had 3 jobs, and I had them all within the course of a year. I changed pay scales 3 times in the same year. So think about that. You know, sometimes that's what you have to do. No one is judging you. People know that things happen, and sometimes you have to move around or whatever. And if they say, well, why are you moving out to all these different positions and things like that? You can tell them, well, I moved over to this side of town if you moved, right? Or even if you didn't, if it's more convenient for you. You know, that's something that, you know, that's a reason, right? So that's just something to think about when you're thinking about going that way. The other position I always recommend is prior authorizations. Now, prior authorizations does not involve coding, but it does involve the documentation and the codes. So what happens in prior authorizations, or something similar in name, right? But basically what you're doing is you are getting the documentation from the doctor, and then you're looking at the documentation. The doctor says the patient has this condition and I want to do this procedure. Call the insurance company, ask them if we can do it. And then that way you're getting exposure to the electronic health record. You're learning about the diagnosis and the diagnosis process as far as like how it's documented and things like that. And then you're also learning about the procedures that go with whichever diagnosis code, which is, again, is very valuable, especially if you end up in a same-day surgery position, right? Start coding for surgeries later on. It's very helpful to know which diagnoses kind of go with which procedures. Now, granted, there's going to be some diagnoses you would never see, and then they go with this procedure because of XYZ. So something else to consider when you're out there looking for alternative jobs is those prior authorizations, because again, it's low pressure, but you're also getting that exposure and you're getting a little bit of practice in. So that's something else that you can think about too, because if you call the insurance company, the insurance company says, we're not paying for this procedure. There's no supportive documentation to even warrant this procedure. And then you can look at the documentation again, talk to the doctor. The doctor says, okay, well, the patient also has this condition, and then you can look at it, and then again, it's back to the insurance company. So that's, again, is a good other stepping stone job into getting into coding, right? And again, sometimes you may be there temporarily. It's not forever. These are not forever jobs. And you have to remember that. These are not forever jobs. And let me check these comments before I get on to the other ones. Hi, Crystal. Do you think medical billing and coding can step in administrative healthcare? Crystal, do you mean like being in leadership in healthcare? Is that what you're asking? Hi, Liz. Hi, AK. Hi, Blue. So happy to be here. Thanks for doing your shows. My pleasure. Crystal, I applied for that because I have experience with management. So, kind of confused on what you want to do. Let's see. Hi, Misty. Hi, Adam. Hi, Blue. I'm having another job interview for a medical billing position that is located at a hospital. That's awesome. Liz says, amen. I work PRN for my old office. Even though they are behind in billing, they only want me to help with the front desk. I hope you told them to go pound sand. Adam says, I'm sure we all have it hard and it doesn't help. Yeah. Hi, Katoya. All right. Hi, Mary. That's awesome. Hi, Alexandria. Administrative assistant. So, Crystal, what is your ultimate goal? Because if you just want to be a secretary, then be a secretary. Then just avoid all the coding altogether. But if it's the coding that you want to do, then you need to stay away from those positions. I mean, I think that's what you're asking me, right? I've already done a video about that school, so you can look through my videos. The other position that I want to talk about that's alternative to getting in is a claims reviewer. So the claims reviewer job is basically you're working on the insurance side, not for the doctor, not for the hospital, but you're working on the insurance side. So when the claims come in, you're looking for denials. And these denials are fairly easy to find, especially because they have the software to show, like, okay, well, they have the encoder. The encoder says that you can't put these two codes together, or this code doesn't apply with this procedure, and then you can deny the claim. So again, that's another way to get to know what's happening in the coding world and being able to figure stuff out that way. It's a great segue into getting into other positions, and it's just nice to build that experience. And plus, some of these insurance companies have really good benefits. Some don't. There's one I would really stay away from. I'm not going to say it here, but for the most part, there's a lot of really good things to be had if you're working on the dark side with the insurance company. Just saying. Yeah. Yeah. But yes, so that's my advice there on doing that. So if you want to try those, that's always a good thing. Then you can always try working for a temp agency. Temp agency is going to set you up with temporary work. There are temporary agencies for medical professionals. That's what you want to look up in Google, okay? You can Google, do not ask me. If you ask me, I will block you because I'm tired of this question. What temp agency do you recommend? Guys, there's no national brand of a temp agency. I think Kelly Services might be national, but that's not that's not medical services, okay? Now, what I am telling you guys to do is in your area to Google temporary agencies for medical professionals. There you will find organizations, these temp agencies that get contracts sometimes for coding jobs. And if you are newly certified, if you are just trying to start getting out there, that's experience you can put onto your resume and you can start building from there. Yes, it's not going to be the fancy full-time job that you want. Maybe it might be full-time hours, but it may not be all the stuff that you want right in the beginning. But having a little bit of patience is going to take you far. And a lot of people lack patience nowadays. It's startling how much I see people are so impatient. They want things right now. And if you just exercise a little bit of patience and waited, you can get so much more. Now, working for a temp agency is great because one, you get paid often a lot more quicker. And two, they may have contract jobs because that was my, when I had gotten in, right? I went to the temp agency and they got me a 3-month assignment. That was my first assignment. They said at the end of the 3 months, they're going to pick one because they picked us 3 ladies. And they said, we're going to pick one of you to stay on permanently. Well, I didn't get picked, and it was not on technical ability. The lady there just was not a nice lady. But that's okay. It's all right. It worked out for me because I got a huge jump in pay when I went to my next job. And the job that they offered me, I had to move. Don't tell me you cannot move. I had to move. I'm sharing my story. I had to move. And so I moved away from my hometown because my mom was the one who told me, you're going, because I did not want to go. And she said, no, you're going because you need to gain this experience. You work there for a little while and then just come back. So I worked there. And six months in or so, I started applying for jobs. Well, a couple months after that, I ended up getting my forever home job here. So that's how that turned out. And everything fell into place. But if I had turned my nose up at working for a temp agency, I may not have had that opportunity. I certainly would not be here, and I probably wouldn't be doing this with all of you. I'm just saying. All right, let's see. Hi, other Crystal. There's 2 crystals tonight. Adam says, LOL, there's nothing wrong with the dark side. It can soothe you from too much light. Everything has a balance. Yes. Dorothy says, "Hi, I'm applying for jobs casually, but I can't seem to get any interviews. I'm not sure how to make my resume stand out. I want to be a biller slash coder. I have a AAS, but no certifications yet." How many pages is your resume, Miss Dorothy? Crystal says, "Administrative assistant and Department of Health is not just like a secretary. It came after administrator and get paid so much more than a cook." Then do that, Crystal. Then do that. I mean, if that's what you want to do, go ahead. All you said was administrative assistant. So when I see that, that's all I think. I'm not thinking about the organization that you're working for. But yes, that's a lot of benefits right there. You're working for the Department of Health. Absolutely. If that's what you want to do, then I don't know why you're here, you know. Hi, Amanda. I'm almost done with my medical billing and coding studies. Blue, do you know a fast way to get some practice with the workbook? Right now, I'm a health service representative there. Liz says, I'm currently temp to hire. The company actually called me after seeing my resume, done by Blue. And other LinkedIn, on either LinkedIn or Indeed. That's awesome, Liz. That is so awesome. Thank you for that. Let's see. Adam, you really like that dark side comment. Edith says, "It's been 3 weeks, no response. Is it bad?" That's average. That's par for the course. If you're just still waiting on that job to call you back, you're going to be waiting forever. You should be proactively out there, still continuing to apply, Edith. Don't be sitting there waiting on somebody just because they're waiting to see, what they're going to do. You have to remember that these people that are calling you for interviews, they also have a job to do. Their job isn't 100% of like, we've got to hire somebody. Some people, yes, that's what they do. But you keep applying until you get an offer that you like. And even if you get an offer that you like, sometimes what happens is 2 offers will come in at the same time. I've had several clients come and tell me that, "Well, Blue, I just got an offer with this job. They're so excited, and oh, it's great, And then all of a sudden they say, "Well, I have an interview at this other place. Should I just cancel?" Heck no. You go over there and you check out what they have to offer, because companies want what they can't have, especially if they're asking you, "Are you applying with other companies?" Absolutely. You can't just wait for somebody, right? Until you get a job offer. You have to you're still a free agent. You still keep applying. If you're waiting on somebody, you're just wasting time. And then it's going to make you even more upset, especially if you don't hear back from them. Because sometimes people at these companies, they don't contact people back simply because they don't want to hear it if they don't hire that person, and then they get all upset and they start crying, and some people, get cursed at and things like that because they don't want to have to hear it. So that's why they just don't respond. But I would not be waiting on somebody just because they said, "Oh, we'll call you." And it's been 3 weeks, you should still be out there applying. No excuse. Dorothy, my resume is only 1 page long. Okay, so do you have all of your skills like ICD-10, CM, CPT, HCPCS, all that stuff on there? Because that has a lot to do with it too. And if you are talking about like your past experience that is not relevant to coding, right? Say for example, I don't know what you did. I'm just giving an example. But if you worked like at Dollar General, if you did all the stocking and things like that, if you took care of inventory and stuff, are you indicating that on your resume? Now, if you don't have a, objective statement, you got to have an objective statement at the top. And people will tell me, "Oh no, I heard that we don't need that." I'm a professional resume writer, and I'm telling you that you need it. Because if I'm looking at a stack of resumes, and I work for an organization that has several positions open, and you don't tell me on this resume what position specifically you're asking for at my organization, your resume is going into the reject pile. because I don't know what you want, and I'm not going to sit here and try to figure it out for you. So you have to make sure that you have 2 to 3 sentences, objective, telling what position that you want. Don't start saying all of your what is it, your all of your stuff, all of your skills and things like that, because they can see that there. But just make sure that it's very clean. It has to be clean, and there can't be 10,000 skills. Don't have organized, team player, smiling face on your skills list, because me, if I see that, it's immediately going into the garbage, because you didn't give me what I needed. On the skills list, the skills needs to be your hard skills: ICD-10-CM, CPT, HCPCS, medical terminology, anatomy, and all of those things. Look at the job listing, and you may have to do edits every time that you apply for a job. But again, also par for the course. If you're not doing that, and you're just sending out the same resume to every single person, not updating it, again, garbage. That's what they're doing. I'm not trying to be mean, but I'm telling you that that's what's happening. Okay, that's what's happening. I'm just saying. All right. What's going on here? A lot of laughing. Hi, Honeycomb. Amanda says, I can't wait for my appointment with you, Blue. Thank you so much. Misty says, I can't stop laughing, Adam. Okay. Yep, keep applying. Alexandra says, keep applying. I love this honest discussion. That's what I do here. Blue, do you think that the hiring is slowing down? No. Adam says, I don't think it'll ever slow down. There's a lot of demand and competition in the medical field. Yep, that's true. Alexandria says, I had a place string me along and then say they were hiring someone with experience. I would never put all my eggs in one basket. There you go. Hiring usually hit for corporates twice a year. Do you need a biography in your resume? Are you being fresh? You're probably being fresh, bird. Liz says, I'm looking for a part-time job like I did when I was looking for a full-time job. You have to apply. Adam says, I don't think you should share your biography information. Let's see. Yes. All right. And now he's got that. What is that? A B? Is that a B? What is that supposed to be, Adam? But yes, so that's what I would do if you're out there and you're applying, is to apply for those temp agency jobs. Don't write me saying that you don't want to do that. That's not what you want, because I'm trying to help you get in. Okay? There's a lot of ungratefulness I've been seeing lately, and I don't like it. Because, again, I'm a professional. I've been there. I've been in your shoes. And I've been through all the things like, oh, you don't have any experience and blah, 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 blah. You know, they did that to me for 2 whole months before I was like, I don't know what the heck to do. And my mom was like, go back to the school, go talk to the principal. And I went back to the school. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? And he's like, it's not that you're doing anything wrong, Blue. It's just that it's very difficult out there. He goes, but, you know, I do have a friend that has a temp agency. And I was just like, I don't want a temp job. And I said the same thing. And he's like, well, when you go on temp assignments, you can build up all of that experience. And it's now experience for your resume, right? And I was like, oh, I didn't think about it like that. You know, I was just like, I was very tired. I was very physically tired because, again, when you work 3 jobs, 7 days a week, which is exactly what I was doing, and you do that for months at a time, just trying to keep your head above water, it's hard. It's hard. You know, you're living on tips. You're living on minimum wage jobs. It's not the easiest thing in the world. And then when you're out there and you're applying, you're being told no because you don't have any experience. I didn't have somebody out there like me, okay? When I was starting out, there was nothing like this on YouTube, okay? There's still nothing like my channel on YouTube, okay? I will say that. But what I am saying is this. there was nobody to tell me, hey, Blue, you got to do this, you got to do that. You know, here's what's wrong, and here's this, and here's that. I never had an issue with my resume, though. That I will say, because I've always been good. I've always been a writer, okay? Always been a writer. So that's never been an issue for me. It was just the fact of, okay, I got to keep going, I got to keep applying. And I had one, and I wanted to tell her so bad. Tell me you don't watch my channel without telling me you don't watch my channel. She was complaining because she said, "Oh well, I applied to 100 jobs. This is a scam." No, no, it's not. That's less than average for applying. And if you have a terrible resume, you're going to be applying even more. Okay. And if you're only applying for remote positions, you're going to be applying even more. Okay. So it's not that it's a scam, and it's not that they're going to be running out of jobs, because clearly not. This is still a very much a growing field. If you're not finding jobs, you have to change the job titles that you're putting in, because we are not just medical coders. We are also called medical records technicians. We are also called, revenue cycle technicians, which I don't know why, but whatever, but they have different names for us. And there's a whole list out there. I don't know where to find it, but I know that there's a whole list out there. You can just let your fingers do the walking and Google it, and, find out what the other names are for medical coders, for health information technicians, records and things like that. So medical records, sometimes I see them under medical records, and they're looking for a coder, because it's just a matter of reading the job description. And a lot of you don't want to read the job descriptions. And that's where a lot of that is missing. If you're not paying attention to the job listing, then that also has a lot to do with it. And I don't know why people are saying, well, nobody's hiring, and there's not a lot of jobs. When I go and I start looking for health information jobs, boom, 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 boom. If you're a member of AHIMA, you can look in the AHIMA job bank. That was how I found one of my jobs, because I was working for a level 1 trauma hospital a few years ago, and I was doing that at home. I was doing it remotely, and that that experience, I will say, it was like the Marine Corps of medical coding. So again, nothing scares me after that experience, because I was already a strong coder when I started with them, but I was even stronger once I got done with them, because of all the things that I was doing and all the procedures, and it was different kinds of procedures as well. And so, and because it's level 1 trauma, you see a lot, and you get strengthened because of that too, so that's something that I did, and I found that job in the AHIMA job bank. There's tons of jobs in the AHIMA job bank. All right. So if you have a membership with AHIMA, you will see all those jobs that are listed there. I'm just saying. All right. What did I miss? All right. Oh, I got to that one. That one. It's a fly. Misty says, yes, make a job out of finding a job. Exactly. Hi, Jessica. One of a kind, priceless info. Alexandria says, you guys listen to Blue. I have to walk before bed. All right. Misty says, that's right, Blue. You have to work so hard sometimes, and you have to keep on. There you go. Adam says, there is no one like you. Thank you. No one can compare to you. You are the queen of medical billing and coding on YouTube. Thank you, Adam. Liz says, names galore. That's funny. Let's see. All right. Kate says, hi, Blue. I passed my CPC today after on my first attempt, and I could not have done it without your videos. I have 2 years experience in claims processing with a health insurance company. Excited to start looking. That is awesome. And you have one of those alternative jobs I was just talking about. So that's awesome that you have that, and use all of that. Everything that you did, make sure that it looks clean on your resume, and you should have no problems finding it. That is awesome. Congratulations on your achievement. That is very cool. Jessica says, your advice to do the tough things because they aren't easy has saved my sanity in the past few months. And there you go. All right. Good night, Liz. You're welcome. Let's see. All right. All right. So, but yeah, that's my message for today is that you have to try these alternative jobs, claims processing, claims reviewer. Those are things that you can also do that's going to give you some experience. Stay away from those front desk positions. Let somebody else have that. Somebody else that is not interested in coding. Don't give away your skill for free, Alrighty, thanks, Letty. But yes, so just make sure that you're doing that. And when you're out there, don't get discouraged. Don't start listening to people that, oh, there's no jobs. I don't know how anybody can say there's no jobs. I look, there's hundreds of jobs. And I look everywhere, not just in Texas. I look in Florida, California, New York, you know what I mean? Like Michigan. I look at all of those places. And when I see that they're hiring for coders, they're hiring for coders. And they're hiring for billers. So that's something that you guys need to kind of get out of that thinking of, oh, there's no jobs, because yes, there is. And if you are only applying at 100 places, that's not enough. That's not enough. I mean, and that's not just with coding and billing and things like that. That's any profession, all right? Because that's just the way that this world is. That's the way this economy is. But just make sure that y'all are out there applying, because again, that's the only way you're going to be able to get in and be able to use your skill. But if you give up, nothing that you can do then, right? You're just going to let all of that wash over you. You're going to let, all of your dreams go right out the window, and you're going to run around spewing off about how you can't find a job, which doesn't make sense to me when the person says, oh, I got certified in 2022. And I applied for over 100 jobs, and it's all a scam. Then why would you go to a video that talks about the top 3 reasons why you shouldn't pursue medical billing and coding? Does that make sense to anybody? Because if I'm going to give up on a profession, I'm not going to want to have anything to do with it. I'm not. I would not care. But again, if you want everything, and a lot of people want things like right now. We live in that right now society, which is why you will never catch me on TikTok. TikTok is the reason that a lot of people have that shortened attention span. And people's attention span is getting shorter and shorter and shorter all the time, because they want that instant gratification. They want that instant information right in their face. They don't want the build-up. Well, you know what? Your brain needs the build-up. Your brain needs a beginning, a middle, and an end. And if you don't have that, your brain does not have time to process. And then guess what? You start accepting whatever's put in front of you in that 5 seconds. So guess what happens? Now people can manipulate how you think, because you just listen to something and then now you believe it. It's the word, without actually going out and doing your own research. Hello? You know what I mean? Like, I don't even have an account on TikTok. I refuse. I flat refuse, because to me this industry, health information, is too valuable, and it is too crucial for us to take the time to learn. That's why I will not do it. I will not do it. Nope. And I don't care. I don't care how much they make over there. I don't, because I follow one on Instagram. She does money. She's a 20-something, and she talks about how to save money and things like that. She is an awesome girl, and an awesome content creator too. But she does her little longer things on Instagram, and she talks about like saving money, and she's working multiple jobs. She works 2 jobs, and she's saving her money, putting into high yield savings and things like that. And I was just like, wow, I'm like really impressed, because she's been doing this for all these years. She's been like working like 3 years, and she saved enough money to buy her house. So I was just like, wow, but she was talking about how much she makes on TikTok. No, not for this. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay. Because when you don't worry about the money, oh, trust me, You will be so satisfied with all the things that you get from what you do, right? You'll be so satisfied with what the things that you do that you don't even have to worry about it. It'll be there. Just saying. Um yes. Adam says it can take months to hear back. Misty says you have been following Blue and her advice now since 2021. She will not tell you wrong. Listen to our Queen of Coding. Thank you. Oh, thanks, Adam. Shamika says, what is an alternative job for a medical coder who wants to move up within their company? Yeah, Adam, that's exactly what I said. Yeah, that's not how it works. Instant gratification, definitely not how it works. Shamika, I mean, if you want to move up in your company, let me guess, you're doing something else right now and you want to move into coding? Is that what you're trying to say? Or you're already a coder and you want to move, what do you want to do? All right, so while we're waiting on that, that's what you have to do, guys. And the more time that you waste running around complaining, the less time you'll have to actually apply. And when you're applying, you still have to make sure that you are studying. You still have to make sure that you're practicing with the book. And it's not about like buying this program or buying that program or buying this or buying that. It's actually about getting with the book, working the old-fashioned way, looking up the codes and doing all that. Because if you are not doing that and then you get an assessment test from a company and you can't pass it, you're still not going to get hired. Because you can't pass an assessment test. They need you to be above a certain amount. And you may think, oh yeah, I can pass it like an 85. No. If they set their pass rate, 85 is normally a passing, right? But if they set their pass rate like at 93 and you made an 85, you failed in their eyes. Doesn't mean you can't ask them if you could take the test again, okay? If they say, well, you didn't pass because you made an 85, then you can ask them, I was a little nervous and I'd like to have another opportunity to take this test again, if it's possible. I mean, I understand if you can't, but I would like another chance, because there was this answer that I was thinking of, that kind of thing. And sometimes they'll let you have another chance. Sometimes they won't. It really all depends. But it doesn't hurt to ask. It doesn't hurt to advocate for yourself. I'm just saying. Shamika says, I'm already a coder, but I want to move up within my company, but I want to stay in the HIM field. So what it sounds like you're asking is, like, if you want to move up to what, management or being a lead medical coder or like a CDI, like, what are you trying to do? Because that's the hierarchy, right? So you have your coder positions, and then you have your your lead medical coders and your CDIs and your coding educators, and then you have your management, your supervisors and stuff like that. So I mean, you can move up that way. I mean, those are all like just different positions. I don't know how how to answer you, Shamika. I'm sorry. But that's the only thing I can think of. If there's something else that you want to do, you're already a coder, but there's something else that you want to do and you want to move up, then by all means move up. And there's other positions like being a lead or being a CDI or being a coding educator or being a supervisor. And those things just take time and experience in the field. Oh, there you go. Right. Exactly. Misty. Yep. Exactly. So, I mean, you can always do that. But like compliance takes a degree. So that's how you move up as well, is you got to get a degree. And some of those are going to require degrees. CDI, they like nurses to do it because they have a clinical background, but this doesn't mean that coders can't do it. Coders who have experience, coders like somebody like me who has years of experience, could be able to do it because I understand my specialties, and I know how to figure that stuff out. But again, it all depends on what it is that you're trying to do, right? But again, if you are just wanting to do this because you have experience and you want to be able to move up, then you have to look at what it is that you want to do, because there's really no alternative, right? Into like moving up. You have to have a destination in mind on what you want to do, as far as like where. You could be a coder for years and then decide you want to do provider education. You could do that. You could be a coder for years and decide, oh, I want to be a lead medical coder because I want to be able to mentor the other coders. I want to be an auditor. Okay, an auditor. Well, make sure that you know a lot. Make sure you've had experience in every single specialty. Make sure that as an auditor that you know your stuff, because trust me, there's incompetent auditors out there. And you have to be able to converse with people, and you have to be able to say, this is my reasoning for having this answer here. And you have to be able to listen to the coder, because if you say, well, auditor stands by her word, which is so stupid, but it happens, right? But if they say that, that's not an auditor. That's just that's somebody saying, oh, do it my way. Like fun I am. Like fun I am. Especially when I have all this to prove why I did this and why this code applies. But there are some people who should never have authority at all, ever, because they can't handle it. Not everybody who has authority should have authority. I'm just saying, All right, guys, so it looks a little quiet there. I guess everybody's done for the night. No other questions? But all I can tell you, Shamika, is to look at the job position description. See if that's something that you want to do. It's like that other lady that was telling me earlier. Oh, I want to be an administrative assistant. Okay, be administrative assistant. Oh, they make more than coders. Okay, whatever. But, go right ahead then. I mean, then what are you doing here? It's foolish. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this one up. Have a great weekend, everybody. If you're studying, make sure you take your breaks. Make sure you drink plenty of water, because believe it or not, a lot of people are dehydrated. I'm going to wrap this one up. So thank you guys so much, and I will see y'all next time. Bye.